Hi. Setting up our front garden. I went and bought the bale of the peat moss. What's left of my compost from the compost pile out there. I have the tarp thrown over the new compost pile, so it gives the chance a couple of months it'll be ready to use. But in the meantime, I've got some compost here. I've still got stuff in the buckets that I can knock the roots and things out of, and I've still got to do that. But the main thing is that I got the troughs up. I've got these level now, and I've still got to buy a couple of concrete blocks to put my tank up on, because I'm going to drill into the side of this and run the water to these systems for the floats.
Now, Clay, tell me how this is all constructed, because I don't know.
It's two 2x4s
Okay.
with an eave trough with the end on it, silicone the end in. You don't have to have the floats, that's just so that you don't have to water every day or every other day.
And then concrete blocks?
Well, you take a 7.5 inch piece of 2x4 and go across the bottom from side to side on the bottom.
Okay.
In 3 places, one on each end and one in the middle.
Okay.
And that holds this all together, so that when you can pick it all up and be one unit.
Okay, so you're going to put water in here and then the bucket system on top of it?
The bucket system the buckets will just sit on top of the water. The buckets will have a neti cup on the bottom, with potting soil.
Okay.
Use potting soil packed into the bottom cup. Then you can fill the bucket with any type of soil. You can buy your soil, but you're going to find it's going to be more expensive.
Let's walk out and show them what it would look like when it's finished. For those that are new to our channel and haven't seen Clay's bucket system, which is so much better.
So my bucket system is just the way I do it.
Right.
Other people have different ways of doing it. I just improved on it so it's easier for Ruthie and myself. With the no watering, no weeding, and all that. I'm going to set this tabletop up. I've changed my mind. I'm going to empty the tabletop out, and I'm setting it up on the porch.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be nice.
So that you'll have the radishes and things right there.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great for cooking. See how I dry my mop?
I saw that.
Did you like that?
All right, this is the way the bucket system up front will look. Right now we've got tomatoes and peppers and Chinese cabbage and bok choy out here, and these have been in since Mother's Day. And
so
they're really doing really
it's not
great.
even. This is Memorial Day weekend.
This is Memorial weekend. This is 2 weeks later.
And look at that bok choy.
Those tomatoes in the back were about the size of this one or this one when I planted them, and that's just 2 weeks growth. So, and these guys were just little tiny things when I planted these.
Pick up a bucket and let them see what's the bottom if you can.
Let me get one of the
So
smaller.
do it with the little one, because there's no point in a big one if you have that one.
The big ones are getting a little heavy
Yeah.
because of the plants. But there's a neti cup on the bottom. This is what a neti cup is, in case you don't know. It's a little black cup with the holes in it. And what I've got...
And you have to buy them online. You can't find them.
Well, you can get them in a hydroponic store. These are 3-inch. You could get away with a 2-inch.
Okay.
Before you buy your neti cup, what I would suggest is find a hole saw. If you can find a 3-inch hole saw, buy the 3-inch neti cups. If you can only find a 2-inch hole saw, buy your 2-inch neti cups. It doesn't matter as long as the water can be drawn up.
Okay.
Now what I did is I drilled a hole in the neti cup and drilled a small hole and used a tie cable strap to hold the neti cup in place so you can use them year after year.
Curious, what do you think about this compared to, say, a grow bag?
I haven't used a grow bag, so I can't compare, but we're going to try the grow bags. I have corn up that's like 6 and 8 inches tall right now, and I've got to get it transplanted. And we're going to try the kiddie pool method with the Walmart grow bags. They aren't really a grow bag, they're the shopping bags, the Walmart shopping bags. But with this system, the water's drawn up through the neti cup, and your plants have always got water, and they'll draw it as they need it. And the top is moist, but not soaked.
I want you
It's
to...
full of water, and the neti cup sits right down in the water.
I want Clay to build me a system like this for my African violets in the house too.
It'll
Probably
be a
in the
small,
winter.
be a smaller trough system. I'll have to find maybe a piece of pipe cut in half,
Mm-hmm.
and most likely a make a shorter system. Ruthie's not going to have 150 plants in the house, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
If
right.
I make her a small system, it's going to be for her parent plants.
Right, the mother
The
plants.
7 or 8 that she's going to have for color.
I've got 10 right now.
But you can see how all these have only been in 2 weeks. This bok choy was small like this when I put those in 2 weeks ago. And you can see they're, for the size of my hand, they're doing really good.
And like the stalks are huge.
Now, you might see a hole in them from the insects. What I would suggest is go buy some marigolds and just put one on each side, because the smell of the marigolds deters the bugs.
We could probably plant the marigold seeds right in there.
No, because I won't know if they're weeds or not.
Oh,
I'd rather
okay.
have the full-grown plants, and then you know what you're putting in there.
That's true. That's true.
If it was earlier in the spring, we probably would have started a bunch of marigolds in the greenhouse right along with the other things. But for right now, we'll go buy maybe a 12-pack or so of the marigolds and put a marigold in each bucket.
So stick with us this weekend as we do various projects, and we'll video them.
And we'll show you the final outcome
Yes.
on the front garden,
Yes.
even if we don't get the tabletop done today, but we will show you what we got accomplished today.
Exactly.
Right now, all I've got accomplished was the leveling of the bucket, or the leveling of the troughs. I haven't got the water hooked up to the main tank yet, but with the rain, and we've been watering them by hand with the watering can and keeping the troughs filled. I think I've filled the troughs twice since I put these in 2 weeks ago. So the troughs usually last about 3 days to a week.
I wanted to tell you too, I didn't tell you this, Clay, because we were talking about the African violets, because I got 2 more and I'm going to show them in the next video. But the thing I was going to say was that the compost that you gave me, because I was doing the dirt a couple different ways, those African violets really took off, and I've had to repot them already and
All right,
stuff.
so what you need to do
Yes.
is in the fall, if you want good compost that you're talking about,
Yes.
take one of those bales of peat moss, open the top, saturate the peat moss with water,
Okay.
and then let it set all winter. And then by spring, that peat moss will be a black, rich starter soil.
Oh, good. So, okay, that sounds
So
wonderful.
this fall, what we'll do is we'll buy you a bag, and we'll just open it up and fill it right up with water, and just let it set outside the greenhouse.
Because I was really impressed with the
or on the
growth.
porch, or wherever just to keep it so that it can. Now it won't compost during the winter, only because of the freezing and whatnot. But when spring, the thaw starts up, and that bag that I let you use was setting from fall. So we'll start this probably about September. Just take the bag, wet it down, and let it get September, October, November before the freezing starts. And then when the spring starts up, it'll, from the end of February when it starts thawing up, March and April, it'll get a chance to break down a little more. And by the end of April or May, when you're ready to use it, it'll be the perfect soil. As you can see, this is the compost that we have. Now that's some good rich soil. And this has all been reused from last year's peat moss and garden clippings and manure and wood cuttings, chips, all breaking down themselves. When I uncovered that this spring, there was worms and everything in there, so that helps break it down. So make your own soil. The first year might be a little more expensive because you have to buy the peat moss This is the third bag we're buying this year. I think we bought 4 or 5 bags last year to do this, to start our bucket system. And these are about $9 to $10, could be up to $13 a bag. So for our bucket system last year, plus what little compost I did have, I didn't have a lot. And I ended up using some of the wood chips that were dumped into a pile, and they'd sat there for 2 years, so they gradually broke down. There were still little chunks of wood in there, but as you can see, there's not a lot of wood in there anymore, so it all broke down into soil, and we still got a lot of that left. But once you get underway this fall, when I get ready, I will take the dirt out of the buckets, dump it up, chop up the things, and take the root systems out of there. It's a lot easier to do in the spring than it is to do in the fall, because the fall the roots are still strong and holding the soil in there. If you take it and dump them into a pile, the lumps of dirt and soil that are in your buckets, and put them on, say, a tarp or a plastic, and dump it on there and just let them set all winter, the roots will finally just dry up and die off, and when you do bust it up, the old roots come out of it so much easier, and you don't have any live roots in there. They're all dead roots, and any remnants of the roots will still be okay and they won't grow. So you can just discard the root systems in the spring. I found it was much easier than I tried in the fall, and I had to hack and chop and just to get the roots out of there, and it wasn't worth it. The spring, they came out so much easier, and as you can see, it makes great soil mixed with a little more peat moss, and I should have this project done within about 2 hours now that I've got the leveling. The leveling is the hardest part. It's not hard, but it's tedious.
Well, and let's mention where we got the buckets. It's for newbies.
All right. You have to buy the neti cups through a hydroponic or online, which I got mine through eBay. I think there were 50 cups. I think I might have paid $10 or $12 for 50 cups. And 50 cups will do 50 buckets. So we bought 50, and we probably should have bought a few more, but we still can because I've got the hole saw perfect for it. The buckets themselves came from different stores. Tops, Price Chopper, Walmart, any place that has a bakery.
I don't think Walmart had them. I think it was Tops.
I think Walmart was kind of stingy on it.
Price Chopper.
They didn't want to give them out because they said they recycle.
Yeah.
So, but Price Chopper, Tops were, Wegmans were very.
Yeah, but all those were very generous.
They were all very generous, and but the time to get the buckets is not when you're ready to do your gardening, because everybody wants the buckets. Time to get your buckets is in the winter, the off season, the fall, when everybody's about done with their gardening, and then the stores they're either throwing them out or they're just giving them away. That's the best place to get your buckets. Now, a lot of times you've got a lot of competing going on. You got 8 or 10 people asking for these buckets, so you may only get them 2 or 3 at a time, which is fine. Just keep collecting. Do your gardening a little at a time. Build. I've got 6 trays that I built last year. I was gonna do some more this year, but we've got so much other things going on that this will be enough to keep me busy. I've still got the tabletop I want to set up here. It's utilizing our deck. I don't have to mow underneath it. I don't have to weed underneath it. If you have a deck and you put one of these up against your railing and use your railing as a trellis for your tomatoes or your things, cucumbers, and let them go up the trellis or up the railing and down the back side of the railing. You can pick cucumbers and tomatoes, and the sun can get to it, and you still are utilizing your deck for setting and having coffee or whatever. and enjoy your gardening. And you don't have to have land. We've got less than a half an acre, and you can see what we do with ours. We compost on it. We still have flowers and beauty.
We've got some weeding to do, but
Yeah, we mowed last weekend. You can see how fast the grass grows around here. I've got to mow again this weekend. But I don't know if I don't mow this weekend, I will mow next weekend, and I'll collect the grass clippings for birds and the compost pile. The compost pile's got a great amount of grass clippings on there, so if I mix it up with the brown leaves and things that are in there with it, I could have some decent compost by the 4th of July over there, just by stirring it up and keeping it going. We still got some grass clippings you see out near the peach trees. There's grass clippings that I didn't get cleaned up. I could still throw those on there. There's so much things to keep you busy, but once you get your vegetables coming on, or if you don't want vegetables, by all means plant roses or flowers on this system. If you love beauty and don't want to have
to weed.
Yeah, well, a lot of people just love the beauty.
You can make the pots decorative too.
If you don't like the looks of the ugly old white or blue or green buckets, or black buckets, or whatever color buckets you use, red buckets from Home Depot, when you buy your buckets, they're going to cost you about $2 to $2.50 a piece. So be prepared for that. You're better off going on not YouTube or Greenway. Go on Craigslist.
eBay. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Or Craigslist. Go on Craigslist, see if somebody's got buckets they want to sell for $1 a piece or 50 cents a piece, or if they're giving them away.
Or the Dollar Tree, those little Easter baskets even.
Yep, the Easter baskets work great. If you don't like the looks of the buckets, take some cloth and just drape it the whole length. Get a measurement of the length you want, drape it over there, cut your holes in your cloth so your plants are coming up through. You could have a flower pattern, a stripe pattern, a zebra pattern, any kind of pattern. You could do it with plastic or vinyl, or just to cover up the buckets. There's many ways that you can enjoy this system and still have what you want, flowers or vegetables. I myself would rather have the vegetables, only because it's helping my family. The flowers are great, but I leave the flowers to the flower gardens. If the bugs are going to eat them up, or if the ants are going to help the peonies to bloom, let them do it in the ground. I'll use this system for vegetables. So if you like the idea, by all means, use it, because...
I want to make a side note too. We've had a big problem with moles in our yard. The moles can't get into this.
The moles, the rabbits.
Yep.
If you've got rabbits chewing your carrots off, or chewing your plants to the ground, or if you've got cutworms, or
mice will even get into gardens.
Mice will even chew up your garden. Cats will dig in your garden and leave you a little present. You don't have that with the bucket system. As you can see, the buckets, or the troughs themselves, this is an 8-inch block, 4-inch, you're a foot off the ground. By the time you put an 18-inch bucket on there, the bucket is this high. Much too high for a rabbit on his hind legs.
Plus, for us older folks, it's easy to weed.
And when you're weeding, you just walk up and just reach down and weed. There's no crawling around on your knees. It's much easier once you get them weeded. If you want, if you take and put the gardening cloth over your buckets, there's no weeding. So whatever way you want to do it your way. Don't do it anybody else's way. A lot of people would have a fit having it on their front porch. We've got some weed guard. We have a roll of red and we have a roll of white that we can drape over this so it doesn't look so hideous on our front porch. It'll look a little more decorative. and we probably will do that just to
Oh, I
show.
like it the way it
But
is.
people going by in the cars, they look and see what you're doing. And last year when I started the bucket system, I had people that I work with that drive by saying, what's what with the buckets on the front porch? And then as the season went and they saw the tomatoes, the tomatoes were standing as tall as I am, or taller, that I was picking tomatoes standing up. And they were all impressed. This is a great idea. We had people that were driving down the road, complete strangers, would stop out front and just want to look at the system.
Or knock on the door even.
Yeah, we had one guy knock on the door. And he wanted to look over the system. He asked if it was okay. And I said, sure, it's fine.
We're all about helping people. We're not making money on it or anything. It's just for us.
We had people ask us, why don't we sell them? And it's like,
We're
no, I'm trying to do this gardening for myself. But by all means, take a look at it. And if
we've had people actually beg us, oh, please go in the business, and we're like, no, we don't have time for it.
But you can see the troughs are a little dirty from last year. I washed them out with the spray hose. But you use them year after year. In the fall, when you're done with them, you flip them upside down so that the water doesn't freeze in the trough and break your plastic or your vinyl or whatever you want to call it. But it's easy storage. Easy to maintain, because once the troughs are full of water, plants take care of themselves.
And my view from the deck, which is getting cleaned, is, over there. Is this where we're going to put the grow table? Right here?
The grow table will be right there.
Right in front of my window, so I can look outside and see my plants.
So, when you do as you want to do, I'm sure we'll have people coming down through and wanting to check out the grow system again this season. We had 6 of them here last year, 6 troughs. We're only having 2 because we have the other 4 out back near the tank. And I'm going to have this tank raised up so that it waters these 2. So I have to do no watering whatsoever. I just have to maintain the tanks and make sure the rainwater is filling them and that they don't get too low. And my work will be, I can work on fencing, mowing lawn, enjoying my summer, and not worrying about weeding and killing my back out there with a hoe weeding the gardens. People spend hours and days just weeding. With this system, you can weed your whole garden in an afternoon and not have to do it again for a month or 2. And that's just to maintain a little plant, a little weed here and there, not like going out and having weeds this tall in your garden because it got out of hand while you were busy doing other things. So enjoy it, try it. Even if you don't want to try it, stay tuned and see how it's working for us, and maybe next season you might want to try it. Okay, this is Clint from Pokus Backyard Farm. Join us again, and God bless.